Good morning, folks. Good morning, all you Uncle Accordions out there. Yes, man, and yes, I'm sitting there. This time I'm gonna put my jacket on. Yeah. Jackie was very sad. I don't like it. Hey, Randall. I'll put the link in if anyone wants to join. I forgot. No, don't copy the thing again. I'll explain about the the reason I named the live stream Creepy Whistle. Let me just get into the car. My dad's already at work, my mom's sleeping. That means it's time to go. It's time to go. It's a nice, beautiful, freezing, frigid day outside. Crap. I was gonna shut that. Those darn trash people never shut the door. I mean, not the door. They never shut the barrels. It's like when the mailmen leave the freaking thing open. Bring one of these with me. Hawaiian punch. So let me do all this. It's not, of course, the one time this week I put my jacket on, it's not that cold. Or it's not as cold. Well, I forgot the maintenance, man. Alright, sorry it's taking forever to get ready. If anybody joins, I might not be able to let them in right away because I'm trying to pay attention to the road. Let me see if I can. I'll do that when we get out. But, anyways, I got a full tank of gas last night to make sure I don't hit the barrels and all that. But so over the weekend, last weekend, my house has had some really creepy activity going on, and me and my family already know that there's some sort of spirit or spirits in my house. But like last time, I went just for the fun of it when I was doing a live stream thing. I decided to go up outside in the garage late at night, and I was gonna go outside, but then I heard a really heard it in real life. Damn, that thing freaked me out like crazy. So I was shaking like a leaf and all that. So, but I kept that whole night. I was hearing footsteps. I was hearing voices in the basement. Call me a liar if you want, but you're not. You guys aren't experiencing what me and Peyton experienced. Even he's not experiencing what I experienced because some of the stuff I couldn't even hear on the camera. But for this morning, I was sitting on the floor watching like a YouTube video, and I freaking heard this like a whistling coming from down the hall, and I went over there. I said, "What the hell is that?" So I went over there, and there was nothing there. My mom's still asleep, And my cat's one cat is upstairs. The other cat was just walking around. But I don't know what that sound was. And the wind makes more of like a howling sound, not a whistle. All right, you're gonna be lurking in the background. All right, Randall. That's perfectly fine. I'll make well, Kane doesn't want me to make a live stream just yet or later because I think he's got that Marshall University football game. I'm getting out of work 2 hours early today too, but I got an appointment, so I'm still not going to be available till around 6:30. But I won't be getting out at 6, so it'll be bright when I come home. I might decide to make a live stream anyway, but I'll have to call it quits before I get home so I can just run right in and get on the call and everything. Um, but yeah, I don't know what's going on there. I can share some freaky stories with you folks. There was one time, me and my old friend Killian went to this little haunted school that's 20 minutes away. Um, and we went there, and the story goes like there was a fire that broke out in the building, and it unfortunately everyone who was in the building, kids and teachers and all, didn't make it out of the building, which is really, really sad and depressing. Um, but ever since then, that place has been like really haunted. And the first time we went there, there were like big thumps in the woods and stuff, and there were like rocks being thrown at the building and around the building. So me and Killian were walking around, and we knew that they were all little kids that had went to that school. So we we decided to play Ring Around the Rosie just for the heck of it, with just nothing, just the two of us. But we weren't holding hands or anything, and we felt coldness on our hands. And if you guys don't know very much about the spiritual world, if you feel like a really, if it's like a like normal temperature, and then you go and you're in a haunted place, and the temperature drops like significantly, and it's like 20 or 30 degrees colder. That usually means that there's some sort of spirit that's around you. Um, and that's what we felt, but we only felt it on our hands. And it was cute, but it was really sad because it was like the children that had perished were trying to play with us. And we even ran around the building, and the light was going on and off and stuff. My mom went into the outhouse in the back, and the door, I actually witnessed the door shut and locked from the inside. Um, which was really freaky and interesting. Um, but the freakiest part was when we left. We left, and me and my Killian's tablet wasn't working at all. Like, it wasn't loading our games that we normally would play on the road, and they kept buffering and shutting off and turning on. And then my dad's headlights on his Equinox, we still have, um, they were flickering and they weren't working properly, and they kept shutting off. And then my dad put the GPS back on so we could get home, and freaking enough, the GPS kept rerouting us back to the school. And my mom's like, "What the heck?" And we were freaking out, but we were also really excited because, like, oh, look at that. So the kids and maybe the teacher didn't want us to leave. They wanted us to come back. They wanted us to come back and play with them still. So when we didn't go back, but then we got home, and our alarm system went on for no reason, and it wouldn't shut off. It took like 10 minutes for it to shut off. And to this day, I have no explanation as to what that was, unless it was the ghost of the kids or the teacher or both trying to communicate with us. And recently, a few months ago, not a few months ago, a few days ago, um, I was at work and I was working on a machine, and I watched a piece of paper just go flying across the table. There was a fan on, but there was a box in front of the paper, and the fan was blowing on the paper, but instead of the paper blowing backwards like it should have, it went abruptly across the table to the left. I mean to the right, and freaked me out. But I went over there and I was like, "What the hell?" Obviously, when I wasn't busy doing something, because I'm not gonna just leave the machine. Because hey, look at a piece of paper move. Ooh, what's that? Um, but I waited and I went over there when that was going on, and the piece of paper just went right across the table, and I just kind of jumped right to conclusion because I kind of thought about it in my head. But like the fan was like if you're standing like where I am, think of where my hand is as the fan. This was the piece of paper right here, and it was the box right here, and the paper went like this. So how could a fan blowing this way make a piece of paper go like that way across the table? And it didn't like do this and like spin around like that. It just went completely flat and just slid in one direction without moving. Like the paper didn't lift off the table abruptly from the wind. It just glided across the thing and came to an abrupt stop. So a few minutes later, I got into the whole spiritual thing about it and said, because sometimes I'll try to talk to the spirits and say like, "Hey, hold on, let me take a drink." I don't say, "Hey, let me take a drink." I say, "Hey," like I try to talk to them and see if I can help them move on. And I asked, I said, "If you're here or if there's any spirit here, can you move that paper?" And the freaking paper lifted up a little bit. And I would say maybe it was the fan, but I did it two more times, like in 10-minute increments. I waited like 10, 15 minutes and did it again. The paper lifted up. Did it 10, 15 minutes again, same thing happened. And 15 minutes later, did it again, paper lifted up. And I was watching that paper, and that paper didn't move unless I asked it. So unless that fan just literally happened to um blow that piece of paper every second that I was staying for something to happen, I don't know. But I'm not the only one that's witnessed things there. My supervisor actually had walked in, he was telling us he walked into the bathroom one day and he was washing his hands and there was like an air freshener sitting on the a big black piece of furniture. And he went over to wash his hands and he went in and he looked at the thing and it just flew right onto the floor. It was sitting against the wall and it just flew right onto the floor. He was like, "What the hell?" So he went over there and put it back up on the thing and like stomped on the ground and like opened and closed the door to see if that did anything. And the thing didn't even move. So he had no explanation as to how that happened. Um and then I had this was a while ago, but I had a experience when I was in the first floor alone. There was people upstairs, but I was getting ready to close up shop for the night, and and I walked out of the office, and you had to walk like a good 100 feet to get to the lights because they were way down there. So I was walking over there, and I walked out of the office and walked like 20 feet, and the freaking lights just shut right off. And I just kind of stopped and froze because I was freaking out. And I walked over there. Is this guy trying? Hold on, is this guy trying to get back in? No. Okay. Um, Oh god, someone got pulled over. That's what. See, this is why you don't go. This is why you don't go more than 20 miles an hour in the school zone, because then you get pulled over and look like an idiot. Cool. not that hard to go 20 miles an hour. Yes, it might be annoying. I have to agree with it, but I also want to make sure we all protect each other. You never know when a little kid's going to run across the street. Anyways, so I walked out and the light shut off, so I was freaking out. And I still continued to walk like the 100 feet more over to the wall where the lights were. And the light was in the off position. So I flicked it up and the lights turned back on. And I realized there is a door right next to the lights. But that door, when someone opens that door and goes upstairs or comes down from upstairs, anytime that door opens, no matter how hard you shut it or how gently you shut it, that door makes a loud crashing sound every time it shuts. And you can literally, hear it from the top floor of the building. So there was definitely nobody that was shut the lights off and shut that door, because I would have heard it and I would have seen them, because I was already out on the floor looking right at the door where the lights were, and there was no one came out of that door. And there is a second place where the lights can be shut off, which is by the garage bay doors. But I didn't go over there at the time, but I was the only one there. My supervisor and my other coworker had already left for the day, and I was the last one there. So there was nobody in that first floor. There were people upstairs, but there's only people. There was also the bus drivers, but they're in a separate section on the first floor, but you have to go through like 2 or 3 doors to get there. But there was nobody on that floor, and those lights just shut right off. And I've had experiences where I'll be working on the machine, and I'll see like a black shadow in the corner of my eye go flying by. And I'll look, and there'll be nothing there. And I've heard my name being called multiple times. And I'll say, yeah, and no one will respond. I don't hear like my name being called like by my supervisor, like the distinct voice of him or my coworker. It's just a voice in general. And we even had a guy from one of the coworkers from upstairs come down here and ask if we were all okay. And when I asked him why, he said that he had heard someone in the vents saying, hello, 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 hello. And he was like, all right, well, I was like, well, none of it. My supervisor's taking his break, and my coworkers do working on the machine with me, and I'm over here, so no, it wasn't us. So he's like, all right, I'm going to go check outside just to make sure. He goes outside, and there's nothing there. He checks the cameras, there was nobody there. And that was yet another person that experienced it, besides me and my supervisor. And I don't know anything about the building. It was recent. It wasn't built. It was probably built like maybe 10, 15 years ago. But it's not. I don't think it's built off of any like burial ground. I highly doubt it. I mean, maybe, but I don't think. I really don't think that. But I don't know what that was. That was really weird. That was cool though, but it was really weird. I didn't expect to hear that or have someone else come down and it's like, hey, I heard a bunch of someone saying hello multiple times into the ventilation. I don't even know where our vents are. But that paper thing, that happened like 2 or 3 days ago. And that really freaked me out. But I was also like, no, that just happened. I can't believe that. That's awesome. I'm trying to think if there's been any other. I don't think there's been any other things like that at work. I mean, whatever it is, actually, well, back at my house, my mom actually heard, she was sitting on the couch watching television, and she heard a little girl in only her left ear say, we are here, in like a whisper. I was like, we are here. I don't know if you even heard that, but it was like we are here. And my mom kind of like jumped a little bit, but wasn't threatened by it, and she came and told me. And I was shocked. But we never heard that. We never heard her or saw her ever again after that, and that was like a year or 2 ago. But recently, my mom had See, when she was washing the dishes, I said this I think once or twice in one of my live streams. She was washing the dishes, and no one was in the living room, and she was in her peripheral vision. I can't say it, but in like the corner of her eye or whatever, she had looked in she had seen a figure in like a red shirt or sweatshirt or something, and it went like flying by in the front living room, and it was too fast to be a human. And I think she said it didn't have any legs or something like that. And if it was a human, they would have gone right through the wall. And that's impossible. So I don't know about that. My mom also said that one time she had her leg hanging out of the bed, and something grabbed her leg. And ever since then, she's always had her leg inside and under the covers. I actually had that happen to me once. I was sitting down, well, I was laying down sleeping, and I woke up to a aggressive like wrench on my leg, on my foot, and I freaked the hell out. And I looked down, and there was nothing there. I looked. There's no way my bed has a wicked small gap, like probably this thick, so nothing can fit under my bed. Um, not even the kitten. So we went under there. I mean, I looked under there, and obviously there was nothing there. And then I looked to make sure there was no cats in there, and there wasn't. My door was shut because I keep my door shut anyway because the kitten likes to chew on my wires. So I keep the door shut um, when I'm not home, and sometimes, most of the time, when I'm home. Um, but there was nobody in there, so I kind of just brushed it off and told mom the next morning, and it was freaky. She's like, oh, I had that same experience. And one of the other things I remember was when I was really little, well, not really little, but a lot younger than I am now. Um, I was sleeping, and I was sleeping like I put my pillow. I used to put my pillow where I put my feet, and like sleep on the other side of the bed for some reason. Wow, that lady almost just got hit by a car. That's not good. That red car, I didn't want to wait for that lady and nearly just clipped that lady. What a freaking idiot. Way to look stupid on the road. Congratulations for looking stupid. I'm sorry, I get really enraged when people do stupid crap like that. Um, but now we maybe lose my train of thought. Oh, so I was sleeping, like all discombobulated, and I heard like footsteps in my room, and like I kind of just like freaked out and froze, but I was completely under the blanket. Um, so I heard like footsteps going towards where like the window is, and then I heard a loud like dinging sound from my alarm clock that doesn't even make that dinging sound. Um, and then I heard a bunch of running footsteps, and I didn't hear anyone go out of the door. I didn't hear anyone go out the door, but I did hear a little bit later. I heard my door like fly open wicked fast and crashed into the wall and closed back up again. I was sitting there just breathing heavily, freaking the heck out. So I ended up getting enough courage. I got up and grabbed the bat. I walked outside the door right after it happened. Like literally seconds after it happened, I got up and went outside. There was nobody there. My parents were sound asleep. And even if it was my parents, they wouldn't have been able to get back in bed in time before I had gotten out, because I was like within 2 seconds I was out of bed and with the bat. So they wouldn't have had enough time to even get back in bed before I was out there looking. So we've had some. It doesn't happen very often, but last weekend. Really, they went to town, and we did this thing. Me and my old friend Killian, we did this thing, and we left a piece of paper downstairs, with like a pencil or a pen or something, and we left it downstairs. Um, and we went upstairs and went outside, walked around the block or something, and we came back. went downstairs, and the pen was on the floor. And there was indents on the paper. There wasn't any writing, but there was indents on the paper. And I tried to read what it said, and it almost looked like it said shy, SHY, but like the S was like wicked long, like really big, and the H and Y were normal sized. But I don't know what that meant, unless it meant it was shy, or maybe it was just what we thought we saw something, or I don't know. I'm trying to think. There's been times where there was one time where me and my mom, my dad was at work, and me and my mom were in the kitchen, and the TV remote was sitting on the couch, and the TV just turned on by itself, and none of us, we kind of just looked at each other, and nobody, no one had touched the remote. And that's never happened since. Or I'd say maybe the television has like a thing where it turns on by itself, but that'd be kind of a stupid thing to add to a TV. Like, let's randomly turn the television on. Well, that's gonna scare anybody if the television just turns on by itself and you didn't do it. Let me think. I've heard my dad. There was twice. Um, one when I was really little, and I was sitting in my room playing with something, and everyone was sleeping. And I heard my dad say, "Hey, bud." So I got up and went outside and said, "Yeah," and there was nobody there. And I walked in my parents' room, and they were both sleeping. And then, like 10 years later, I heard it again, and I looked out, and there was nobody there again. So that's happened only twice. I don't know why or what or who's doing it, but whatever's in the house isn't bad. It's not a malevolent spirit. It does some mischief, I guess, once in a while when it freaks us out, but it's not something terrible. Like, it hasn't tried to hurt me. The only thing I don't like was the leg grabbing thing, but I don't know. Maybe it was the little girl that maybe she had that same thing happen. Maybe something grabbed her leg when she was still alive, and she was trying to protect me and my mom from having it happen. So she did it to us, so we would never put our leg back out. I don't know. As as far as I'm aware, nobody. I don't think anybody passed away in the house. I think the house was built. I'm pretty sure it was 1917 when my house was built, and it was actually labeled as the fancy house on the street because it was the biggest house on the street. It still is, and it's like the only house that's not white, brown. We have a nice bright blue house, and everyone else is like brown and white. And then there's like one yellow, very faded yellow house, I think. But then across the street, the second set of new neighbors, they painted their house red. So now we got a red and blue, which is pretty cool. But let me see if I can think of. Oh, geez, I didn't know there was construction. Let me see if I can think of any more. I wouldn't call them incidences, but anything freaky like that. It'll take a minute. They've been doing construction here for a long time. They must be cold. I almost freaked out. I saw the 42 and I thought it was 24 degrees. But I read it wrong. I'm glad I did. That's way too cold. Although 32 degrees was real cold as well. I think. Oh, same person with my old friend Killian. We did this thing called the Bloody Mary Challenge several years ago. But there's like a specific time, and my mom didn't tell us the right time because she was kind of nervous about it, which I don't blame her. I wouldn't have told my kids. But I don't know. I don't remember what it is, but we did it late at night, and you're supposed to like go in the bathroom, or I think it's mostly the bathroom because the bathroom always has some sort of mirror. So we were in there, and we shut the lights off and everything, and my friend was recording on his tablet, and we said Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, and we heard like a loud thud from the shower, and we went running out of the bathroom and down the stairs into the basement. And when we watched the footage back, it didn't happen in real time. But when we looked at the footage, his tablet was all staticky, and it was like going. And once in a while, it would all be all grainy, and the camera would turn black, and like like on an old television when you turn it on or there's no signal, it has like the black and white dots that like vibrate around on the TV like a blank screen. Well, it did that every few seconds. That would pop up for like 2 seconds and then go away, and then pop up again and go away. It was really weird because that's never happened before. And all of a sudden we do that, and now it's happening. So we didn't know what to think about that either. I'm trying to think if there was anything else. Really, that's true. We definitely did have a lot of strange stuff go on, as I've said already. Like with this morning, with the whistling. I don't know what was whistling. There was nobody. The only person in the house was my mom. She was sound asleep. So I don't know what that was all about. That was pretty interesting. Other than that, I think really been much else. I mean, we've had there actually no, there was a time when I was recording a video in the basement. I think I said this on a live stream too, and I left the camera running and I ran upstairs and just left the camera running, and I came back down and watched the footage, and it looks like the camera slightly moved a little bit, and you could actually see a tiny, like a really quick silhouette of what looked like a little girl kind of run from where that big water tank is, from the left side to the right, where you go in the basement, where you on the train side, where you go around. When you go through and you take a left and go down where the workbenches and all the cars are, from there, I put my tablet on the freezer and faced it towards where the layout is, and it looked like a little girl ran from the left side to the right into the layout, which is impossible. So maybe that was that little girl. I kind of forgot about that one. And then there was another time, me and my old friend Antonio were doing something in the basement, like creepy stuff, and we went we had a flashlight on, and we were in the dark. But then I turned the light on, and the flashlight was we kept the flashlight on, and I was standing over to the right of the camera, and he was to the left of the camera. We were talking to each other, and the freaking light just turned off right on camera, right in front of both of us, and we didn't touch it because we were talking to each other. And we were both looking at each other, and that flashlight just shut right off by itself. So I have no clue what that was, but that's never happened again. Although I haven't really done any videos like that. And the only other things I can think of, like things that were not at the house, like at the Danvers State Hospital. I think it's like a nursing home. They had this Mary statue of Mary out in the graveyard, and there were candles. There were candles out on the statue that was wicked windy, and all the other candles were blown out. But no matter how much wind came, those two candles did not go out. And I stood there for a good 10, 15 minutes with my dad and mom. We watched those candles, and I was recording it, and they did not go out. That was the only thing that happened but it just doesn't make sense how the flame was that powerful to the point where those candles wouldn't go out from even the heaviest wind that we witnessed that day. Well, me and Killian went to the Medfield Hospital. It's all abandoned and closed off, but It's like a tourist place, I guess now, or I don't know if it still is. But you couldn't go inside because there was like poison in the wall or something. They said like that. But we went there to the place. Just get rid of notifications here. Um, we went there to the place, and I had taken a picture of inside a window. You kind of had to do some parkour to get up there. Um, but we did. I took a picture inside one of the buildings, and in the building, you could see like in one of the rooms, the door was open, so you could. It looked like there was like a rug that was like dark red, and it looked like that girl in like the white dress with the long black hair, which is apparently called a Kuntilanak or a Pontianak. And then next to her, like on the right behind her, was this really tall, thin woman, and it looked like she was like thin as a pencil. Like that's what it looked like. She was wicked thin. I don't know what to make of it. But then in the same picture, well, actually in a different picture, my dad had taken a picture with his Kindle. He had taken a picture of the left side of that room towards like there was a door and there was like a window and the ceiling. And on the ceiling, it looked like you could see like a face of like a little baby, like just in the ceiling, like floating in the ceiling. And there was again, and then there was a face peeking through the window on the door. Because it was like a door with one of those windows on it, and it was like a face peeking through, and it was real weird. I did go to the forget the name of it. It begins with an S. It's cut in front of me. Jesus. Um, I don't remember the name of it. I think it begins with an S. I don't remember. I think we heard some really loud noises, but it wasn't anything that we could have not debunked, like someone turning their car on or someone dropping something on the ground or construction. But I really wish I remember the name. I think it was a sanitarium or sanatorium. I'm not sure. Um, I really wish I remembered the name. I think it begins with an S, but I'm not sure. Hopefully, I'll remember the name. I think I think that's it. I think. Well, I did go one time late at night. I went with Peyton on the phone, and all I had was my phone with Peyton on it, and I had a clear drawstring bag with a bunch of water bottles in it. That was all I had, and I walked like 2 miles to my elementary school because there was apparently I was told that there was like a murder back there. Some guy in all black had murdered a lady back there in the woods behind the school. And we had gone when we were kids. We had gone back there, and there was actually like the trees were like all burnt up and stuff. And there was actually a metal pipe. We found a shoe with blood on it. We found a rock that had blood on it. We found a potential weapon. It was like a giant metal rod. There was caution tape back there. So it kind of added up to possibly a legitimate murder. But I went back there a few years ago, maybe a year, no, probably like, hi, big boy. Probably like a few months to a year ago. And I went back there. I walked the 2 miles and I went back there and it was really creepy. What is going on here? Hi, big boy. You're not supposed to stop there. All right, folks. So I walked back there and it was pitch black, and all I had was the light of my phone, which I was talking to Peyton on. So I couldn't really like shine it. Um, hi, big boy. Um, so I walked back there and I was in the woods, and there was like at one point when we were doing like a game where we would have like forts and stuff. We would find like patches of like woods and stuff, and we'd say, "Hey, this is our fort, and that's your fort," and we would like penetrate each other's forts for fun. Um, One of them actually ended up getting taken by a homeless guy. But when I had gone back there, I went back there late at night. It was probably like 9 or 10 o'clock, and you have to walk through like a huge grass field to get there. And I went back there, and there was really nothing going on for a while. It was creepy because I couldn't barely see anything. And then I went over to one of the forts where the homeless guy was, and I heard some rustling sound. And I looked over and turned around, and there was this giant, tall, black figure right in front of me. And I ran the heck out of there. And I kept running and running, and I turned around, and I could see it following me. And I ended up running like when you're in a situation where it's like life or death, possibly, your body can do amazing things. Like on a normal day, I wouldn't be able to run as fast as I did, but I ran wicked fast and nonstop for a good like mile, and I kept running and running, and I got out of the. I ran all the way through the woods and out into the field, and I was like coughing and panting, and I was coughing up the taste of blood, and it was really bad. And I said, I'm never gonna go back there again because I don't know what it was and if it was gonna hurt me or what it was. I don't know if it was an animal or what. But no, I'm the only. It's just me. I'm driving into work right now. Um, but yeah, that was really creepy. I say I want to go back, but I think I want to go back with a person like who's physically here with me. Because it's good to have Peyton on the phone, but like if something does happen, God forbid something bad happens, the only thing Peyton can do is like scream and yell on the phone, and whoever's there could easily just grab the phone and break it or shut it off. And I guess he could call the cops, but he doesn't know what road I'm on or where I'm at. So I just don't know. I don't know if I'm ever gonna go back there again. Your body can do amazing. Yeah, yeah. In life and death situations, your body really can do amazing things, which is good. Like your body knows, like, listen, if I don't run fast and get away from this person, I might not ever run again. Fortunately, I don't think. I think that was. I keep saying I think that was everything, but then I keep thinking of more things. Let me think again. I think that was everything that happened in my house. Um, the other stuff that happened, I was able to debunk with like the sounds of like the refrigerator making noises and stuff like that. But I think yeah, we have something in our house. I don't know what it is or what wants or I don't know. It's not a malevolent one. It's not mischievous. If it was mischievous, we'd have a problem. Um, if it does, no, I believe you. There's people that can see those things. That's a gift. I guess I don't know. I don't know if I call it a gift. I mean, maybe, but it's like people where you can see like people who have passed away. You can see them, and it's like I don't know if that's a gift because like if someone passed away in my house and I'm waking up and seeing a person or some man or some soldier or some sailor in my house and I don't know who they are. I don't know if I think I'd probably really be nervous and freak the heck out if I woke up every morning and sometimes through the day I saw some random person that used to live there that passed away and now I can see them. And then there's mediums who are also born with some sort of gift where they can like feel and sense. Yeah, they can. Yeah, see and speak to the dead. But there's people mediums they can feel and sense the the atmosphere and tell you like if there's an evil spirit or if there's a good spirit or what it wants. Um, there's some really interesting people out there that can do some pretty um, incredible things. One place I want to go is Waverly Hills Sanitarium, but that's in Kentucky, I believe. Kelsey Dogs. I don't know who that is. I'll have to check. Davis, no, Kelsey Davis. I'll have to check them out. I definitely I love paranormal stuff and ghosts and all that. I study and research that stuff. I know a lot about it. I know so much about it. When I was explaining something to my teacher in front of my entire English class, they were all like, the teacher was like, if I ever have any problems, I know exactly who to talk to. I'll talk to you if I have any problems with any spirits. So, well, that's good. I know my stuff. So, I mean, it's not like I sit down on my butt all day and Google about spirits, but like I know about demons, jinns, poltergeists, and all that. Poltergeists are those are the not malevolent, but those are the mischievous ones, the ones that do a lot of. Yeah, it was pretty nice. Um, those are the ones that do a lot, like they'll move a lot of dishes, or not dishes, but they'll move a lot of things and maybe throw some stuff, and they'll make it cause a racket. There's specters, there's ghosts, there's jinns and demons and poltergeists, and then there's the stuff you can use to talk to it, like a spirit box, where it goes through radio frequencies to pick up and to pick up voices that the ghost can try to like, or spirits can try to like communicate through. There's like Ouija boards, which is not a recommended way to do it. That's actually dangerous because there's been a lot of people who have tried to contact someone from the dead, like a family member, and they end up contacting something much more serious. And that's how people end up getting their houses haunted or themselves haunted. And demons and stuff can attach themselves to people and haunt that person. Someone I know named Mo. Well, I don't know him, but from YouTube. Yeah, an EMF meter. Yeah, I know about that. I think Peyton's brother has some of that stuff. Which is pretty interesting. Um, there's there's um there's a lot of apps that you can use, but you got to be careful with what apps you use because some of them aren't true, and some of them just give random answers and don't actually tell you anything. Um, you have to watch ghost YouTubers that do paranormal investigations and tell and listen to what ones they recommend, because if they recommend it, then that's probably the right one to use. Don't just go on Google Play and download a ghost meter because it might not be accurate. Trying to think. I think there's something called a spirit board, but I think that's just another name for a Ouija board. Um, I don't know if I would want to get one because they are kind of expensive. Um, and I don't really go out to investigate haunted locations, so I don't know if I'd want to. Yeah, I don't know if I want to get an EMF meter. If I was like a full-time paranormal investigator, then that would be different. Maybe I'd want to go out, search for stuff, but I don't know if I'd want to do that. And plus, just with all the stuff that I've already witnessed, I'm pretty scared when it comes to the afterlife. Like if I were to be hired for something or become a paranormal investigator, I'd probably hear one thump in the house and come out screaming like a little girl. And I don't think that's what the company's gonna. Well, that's cool. There's a semi truck in front of me that's actually got an American flag on it. I've never seen that. It's got 2 flags on it. Unless it's 1 flag. Hopefully the other flag isn't political. Normally there's always a political flag when you see an American flag. I see somebody. I don't know who's on it though. The second flag is underneath the American flag is like a smaller blue flag. And it looks like I can see somebody holding up the American flag, but I can't tell who it is. Maybe, or I don't know, maybe it might not even be what I'm thinking it is. Might not even be a person. Oh my gosh, my mom loves those. We have a Chase lounge, and that whole Chase lounge is just spilling. They're just Squishmallows are just spilling all over the place. That's so funny. That's definitely a gift that I get my mom. I think they're like collectibles. Oh yeah, yeah. There's you should see the back of the car. There's even more than that. Hey, that's one of the kids I go to work with. How weird is that? He was getting out of the gas station. Oh gosh, more construction. Because that's just great. Oh, it's on the other side of the road. Even better. Oh great, of course someone's got to turn. Sorry, sir. I was gonna let this guy go, but I can't. Too many cars in the other lane, and I'm holding up traffic. Yeah, my mom might have a world record with those. Humpty Hump. All right, people, I gotta go now. Unfortunately, I'm at work, but I'll probably make a live stream later. But I gotta go for now because I gotta go to work. But thanks for coming. And everyone else who showed up. We'll see you guys later. Bye.